Assalamualaikum. So I wanted to come on here and talk about Ramadan. It is fastly approaching, and I wanted to talk about it in a perspective where it's just my opinion. I'm not here to advise, but I wanted to relate to some people out there that may experience the same things that go on in Ramadan. And so this is not to advise or to promote. This is just personal experience. I did make this video prior, but I had to not post it because I feel like I need to just put the disclaimer that I'm not trying to advise everyone to be in this fashion, because many scholars will say differ and stuff like that. So this is just personal struggle and wanting to share Ramadan, what no one really talks about. So one of the things that I find myself going through in every Ramadan is the lack of goals, due to circumstantial things that occur. I haven't really been able to do consistent big things like attend Taraweeh every single night, or finish the Quran, or memorize surahs, or do a lot of big acts of worship due to circumstantial things. And I personally feel in some ways that this is not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, because we all have heavy responsibilities and certain things come our way, tests, whether that's with money, with health, with a lot of different things, that achieving portions of making each day with certain portions of things, and making a routine and a plan and goals and things like that is not achievable. And I wanted to talk about that. It's really about striving to gain more cautiousness of Allah, and we want to be able to be seekers of any bit of knowledge that we can get, seekers of any opportunity to do a good deed. We're trying to chase to goodness, and be aware, open our senses to what we can do, and kind of have in our days have that sense of awareness of things that we could possibly do to squeeze out the best of Ramadan. But I feel like people out there advertise setting extreme goals and really utilizing the time, and that is not the case for some people. And understanding the diversity of the population could deal with even any hardship. So to plaster you gotta have a goal, and this productivity, making sure it doesn't stem from individualism, purifying our intentions, because often we will get tied with productivity, progress, and we could isolate a bit too much during this time period as well. I think it's really important to be aware of sometimes things can turn selfish, and a lot of that's controversial to say, but people really have I need to attend Taraweeh every single night, but could really soften their hearts towards some people. And it's not so when it comes to productivity and progress and achievements, it gives feelings, and we have to understand that those feelings are awesome, but a momentum carrying based on feelings. And I feel spiritually good, and it's so these things we get caught up in, fortunately. And it's really important to no attachment to goals, it's attachment to pleasing Allah. On into a second thing that I wanted to talk about Ramadan is how lonely it is, and how people really do isolate during this time, and it has left a lot of marginalized people left with no connection. I personally feel that way, where people go to your door and give you food, alhamdulillah, but nothing is established the rest of the months, or people are no, I'm busy, or fasting, the act of fasting, not eating, not being a center of an activity, interacting when you're hungry, things like that, diversifying it. What tends to happen is we are very narrow-minded as an ummah, and believe that Taraweeh every night, Quran, all that is considered religious, religious is equaling this, but in reality it goes more in depth to that. and I find that that's pushed through culture, that you have to do A, B, and C, D, because this represents piety and it's tied to the month of Ramadan. I really do think that reaching out to a brother or sister and trying to build established connection, things like that is really important. And often a lot of people do feel very lonely and feel isolated because you just think, well, everyone has their own goals. So like a part of this is very communal, does happen with food sharing and things like that, but trying to keep that momentum going as well. So I just wanted to talk about some things that it is this month, but is what we carry on in many other months. Allah, please, I would like to have a discussion in the comments talking about your thoughts and feelings about individualism seeping into how we look at and how we interact with the month of Ramadan. Have you experienced loneliness in Ramadan? Do you feel like that's normal and there should be more isolation? Or what's your thoughts? Any thoughts and feelings? And I do think that maybe we'll do some discussion on it, because I do feel like Allah will want to raise your ranks. So that's whether that's through hardship, responsibility, whether that's through reading the Quran. Like, the diversity is so important, and something so small could be like something that you think is small that could amplify. And there's so many things to discuss about Ramadan, so please let me know your thoughts and feelings, what I mentioned in the video, and I would love a discussion, inshallah.